So what is this meeting about? Well, it's a very simple, couldn't be simpler. There's just what is. Just what's happening. Sounds, my voice, sitting on a chair or a couch. Taking a sip of coffee or tea. Swallowing. A bird cawing. Just the simplicity of whatever's happening. And of course, this is not what the me is looking for. The me is looking for more, better, some improvement over this moment, because this moment is lacking, says the me. This moment feels insufficient, not enough, never good enough. And so that dream of separation, of being a separate person moving through time, is really one of suffering. It's looking for something that can never be found. It turns out that wholeness is already the case. That nothing you do or don't do makes any difference. The wholeness isn't going anywhere. The wholeness is already whole. So if you say, I hate the wholeness, or you say, I love the wholeness, they're both wholeness. So no thing is better than any other thing. And to the me, that doesn't make sense, because to the me, well, what are you kidding me? Of course, $1 million is better than $5. So the me uses knowledge, uses logic, uses its arguments. And it's constantly seeking. But have you noticed that it doesn't actually find? Oh, maybe for a little while it finds, but it never lasts. We could say that everything here is limited. And so that's why it ultimately doesn't fulfill us, because it's limited. It's a thing. And what we're talking about at this meeting is not a thing. You can't point to it. Why? Because it's everything. How could you point to everything? So the thought, wow, I really like this. I really resonate with what he's saying. Or, I have no idea what this man is talking about. They're both it. So wholeness cannot become more whole. Wholeness cannot become less whole. So that's really good news, because it means there's nothing to do. It turns out that wholeness is already the case, despite the story. It doesn't matter, the story, because the story is what? It's wholeness. The story is wholeness itself, made of wholeness. telling a story about wholeness. So the sense of lack is the sense of separation that the me feels, the illusory me feels separate and cut off. And so naturally it seeks. And I tried so hard. I seeked, I can't even tell you. I mean, you name this teacher, I probably either have their book or watched 1,000 other videos. And nothing worked. Nothing worked. No teaching, no teacher, no path, no journey, no getting to the next level, no transcendence, none of that. When Nkosi said, all is this, all is this. Something can resonate with that. It can't be figured out, it can't be known. You can't know that it all is this. Who would know that? How could you know all is this? But there can be a resonance. There can be like, yes, of course. Now, I don't know how all is this, and that's what the me is going to want to do. It's going to figure out, well, how do you know all is this? All is this, so there's nobody here to know. All is this is not an intellectual understanding. You can't get there through reasoning. It's just either, it's like being in love, right? You can't explain being in love. You just see the person and something about them, you're like, wow, right? It just hits you. You can come up with a story. Oh, I like the way they look or whatever, but that's just a story. I'm talking about that raw feeling of. So when Nkosi said, all is this, so it doesn't matter if there's a me there or not. It doesn't matter to this, because they're both this. The feeling of being a me is this, and the feeling of not being a me is this. It's all this. And so obviously this was never taught in school. And so this is an open meeting. Everybody's invited to participate. If you have a comment or question, please feel free, to unmute and jump in.
Michael, I have a question that's been on my mind, and it's about drugs. And do some people have an awakening experience when they use strong drugs?
Well, they often think they do. I did. When I did mushrooms, and I OD'd on mushrooms and went down the white tunnel. When you die, they say you see a white tunnel. So I thought I had this, unbelievable mystical, but it turns out there's nobody having that experience. So
did it?
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, did it encourage you further towards real awakening? Was it a positive?
No, it wasn't, because I just had a good story I could tell at a party.
Right. Okay.
This is the thing about being a spiritual seeker. I'll tell you why it sucks royal, because it feels special. Something about spirituality strikes one as lofty. as out of the ordinary, not the mundane. And that couldn't be further from the truth. It is the mundane. It's this right here. It's the dirt under your fingernails. It's all of it. And so really, there is nothing spiritual. There's just everything.
Thank you.
One of the things that one of the radical non-duals said recently that stood out to me a lot was that often phenomena, experiences, bliss states, enlightenment, awakening, that really it's just a form of becoming more comfortable with separation.
Mm.
It's really not about this message, even though it's all about this message. Yeah.
Thanks, Maureen. Yeah.
Can we just jump in?
Yeah, go ahead, Jacob.
Or is it hand raising? Yeah.
No.
See,
go ahead.
the me is trying to figure it out. See, the me is saying, "Oh, I'll accept, I'll reject." You see, and the me doesn't see itself. The brain body at the visceral level does not see that it is under occupation by the me, the I, the sense of mind, the consciousness. So that ignorance of what the me is doing, what the me is made of, where did it come from? What is it doing to relationships? What is it doing to perception? That ignorance is the source of humanity's suffering. It's coming from that lack of clarity, seeing what is. So are you aware of the futility of doing anything? Right? Just see the factness of it, not the idea of it, not the theory of it, not the belief of it,
Yeah.
but to see now the fact, right? That the me, whatever it does, right, is the movement of noise, chaos, disorder, confusion, fear. So whatever it does is in terms of what it is. So fear in a different form, anxiety in a different form, suffering in a different form, but still the continuation goes on. And so when the me sees that it is the block, you are the stuff, right? You're full of conflict and contradictions, right? And whatever you do is the furtherance of that. When you see the fact of that, what happens?
Jacob.
Full stop,
Jacob.
right?
Jacob. Yeah, we've been down this road before. So you've been here before and you're welcome to come, but I can't let you come and dominate like this, which you tend to do. So you're welcome.
No, interrupt or stop.
No,
me at
I
any
don't want to
point.
go because we
Yeah.
did this last time. And it really, I don't want, this is not up for debate. I'm not going to debate you. If it resonates,
Debate?
or if it doesn't, you could go.
Who's debating?
Well, I'm just saying, so it's your choice. Otherwise, I'll just remove you.
We are inquiring together as friends.
No, but
on
we're
the
not.
same level.
No, you're not
We're
listening.
not inquiring.
No, absolutely not. There's nobody
not-
there. There's no one to inquire.
Do you know that as a fact, or is that just an idea for
Have you been listening to what I've been saying?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I just said none of this is provable.
What,
I'll have to tell you.
what are you trying to prove? What is it
Nothing.
you're trying to prove?
Absolutely nothing.
Right? So the one who's speaking, right, who's under the name of Michael is who?
Nobody.
Who is speaking?
No
Nobody.
one. No one.
Which is what? It is no thing that the me.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Apologies.
Man.
Apologies.
That was beautiful. Thank you for jumping in.
Even though there's nobody there to learn, learning can seem to happen.
Alice, what were you going to say?
I was going to basically say that absolutely agree with Michael. And I think I was going to say I found him annoying.
Yeah. So that's a good example, because Jacob's been here before, and also I've seen him do this at others. He'll go for 20 minutes, no problem. He'll just take over the meeting, and he'll just say, what? I'm just asking questions, what? So this time I realized, you know what? That's not what this meeting's for. We're not here to do that. So this is really, it's beautiful, right? Because there's no one to learn, and that learning can seem to happen because I'm like, no, I've seen this movie.
Mhm.
So now, can I explain that? Can I say that learning can seem to happen even though there's no one there inside that body?
It's almost like the natural response just arises without the filter of the me. It's just like, oh, nope, not next. Yeah, beautiful.
I think there's something I would see here as hearing, as listening, and then really hearing, and then seeing. And the necessity for words is dropped away. You use the term surrender to just, oh. But there's really not hearing or listening, let alone seeing, with someone caught up in a mind storm. Apparently someone.
And so that example, that, me giving Jacob the boot, that's this too. If I was doing it, I'd feel guilty. Right? Oh God, did I do the right thing? All right, that's so unspiritual to kick somebody out. But no, like Zoe just said, you're more natural. You're almost like an animal. An animal is just in the moment, instinctual, isn't overthinking anything. So I would say that's what starts to lose you start to notice that your thoughts and your stories don't concern you. That there's a mechanism, a seeming story going on in the head, seemingly, that has absolutely nothing to do with you. You did not put it there. You don't know how it got there. You don't know when it's leaving.
I was feeling kind of afraid to tell him that I was annoyed, and then the annoyance just really built up inside of me. And then I realized that too was it, and it was okay just simply to say that and not try to be holy or any of that stuff.
Yeah, I honestly don't think saying you were annoyed would even put a dent in it. Would not have penetrated. What?
His words were machine gunning us.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a really good and striking example because we all do it, right? It's when the me has a position and thinks it's right. That's what a me does. Because think about it, the words are all the me has. All I have is my words to argue with you. So I have to be either louder or more intelligent or come up with and it's a constant opposition. It's a yin and the yang. And again, it's wholeness too. So wholeness can look like anything.
I was just thinking yesterday about this voice in my head. It would argue with the traffic lights turning red or green. It's got a problem with everything.
Yes.
Arguing with the traffic lights. I thought, what a waste, what a waste of time that is. And the other thing I was just wanted to share was you're talking about the stories being quieter now. I had an experience where my granddaughter, who's very precious to me, wasn't getting in touch with me. And I wanted her to be talking to me or in touch with me somehow. And so I realized that I had made up this story. I'd said to myself, she doesn't want to see me. She doesn't like me. She's bored when she gets together with me. That was the story that was going on. And then I thought, stop it. How do you know what she's thinking? And that's really precious for me, because in the past, the story would get bigger and worse, and then I'd have to work out a way that I had to talk to her about it. And I thought, how would you know what's going on in her head? And yeah, and then I saw her and everything was just normal and happy. So those stories are troublesome indeed.
Yeah, well said, Faith. It really, those stories, honestly, they can. Don's giving applause. Those stories are not reality. So what you think, I mean, you know how it is when you're going somewhere and you go, wow, this wasn't like I expected it at all. The story in the head is just a really rudimentary, almost like a child taking a crayon and drawing what it thinks is going on, compared to this miracle. Right now is the miracle. How is this happening?
Faith, getting back to your thoughts, you know, when they come up, just say, I don't claim these as mine.
Yeah, I know, Leighton. That's very precious. I remember you talking about the thoughts are not my thoughts quite some time ago, and that's been very precious to me. But it was just that I had this particular experience where I sort of unconsciously must have gone into this story mode about, oh, my granddaughter, she's bored with me, blah, 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 you know, like I sort of slipped into it without even realizing. And it wasn't really bothering me. It was just me telling the story. And then at some point I thought, stop it. It's all made up. How would you know what she's thinking? So it was a really good lesson for me in not making judgments, because the judgments will always be about something wrong with me. The stories will always, for me, my experience, they will always have that it's gone wrong because of something I did wrong. And anyway. Yeah, no, the thoughts are not my thoughts. It's precious. So thank you.
And then knowing that you're kind of separate from separation now, but she still is in separation, you know, so that's kind of the other way to look at it.
Yeah.
You're more aware, awake.
Yeah.
Like, I don't claim these thoughts as mine, and I also use that practice, and it's wonderful. But for me, it reinforces the sense of I. It reinforces the sense of me, because if I say, I don't claim these I don't claim these thoughts as mine. That is saying there's a me and there are thoughts, and me is not going to claim these thoughts, which strengthens the sense of me. So there's a little high in it. There's a release in there, and that's very high, and it's very beautiful. But it's sort of like that drug experience that Michael was referring to. It's nice, but there's no me. So if there are thoughts, they're just thoughts. And so, yeah, and not that I know what to do with that, but.
Oh, that's good, Don. I like it.
This is sort of a loping association to this interaction, which was I was walking, a friend and I were taking a hike at one of the parks, and she had these socks on, and the socks had some kind of slogan, you know, like be yourself, or you know, some kind of slogan. And we were laughing about it. We were laughing about slogans, how they're prescriptive in nature. And it's funny, I started writing about it. I started because we were joking and we were talking about all the slogans, love yourself, surrender, let go. And we were just laughing hysterically at really just how they sound preachy and teaching like, et cetera, et cetera. But the truth is, like in this interaction, and then by the time I got to the end of it, I just felt like throwing up, you know, because there was a position. I mean, I had a position and I thought slogans were just fucked up, you know, and really I realized, oh, that's just this too. And the truth is that, like what Leighton said, or Faith or Dawn, or what any of you guys are saying, there are moments in time where that will come through. And it isn't one thing or another. It's not one size fits all. It's like none of this. And I mean, it isn't like that. This is unconditional. And a tremendous array of possibilities can occur. And I'm not saying one is good and one is bad. I'm just saying any position, it's just not accurate, you know? Yeah. I mean, because sometimes something someone will say, just latent, like what you said, will just come through. And for some reason, stuff will just stop. And I don't mean it's cause and effect or anything. I have no idea why anything happens the way it does. I just mean there's no place to stand. Yeah. Yeah. There's that beautiful biblical quote. I don't know much about the Bible, but there's a biblical quote that says, the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. And that's this. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. There's no place to stand, because that's what happened for me when I first met Kosi. It was like he just took me to a place where there's nowhere to go. Yeah, nowhere to go. No place to stand. And that was such a relief. Yeah.
So it's a common, right? It's a common thing to hear at spiritual groups. Oh, you know, who is there to meditate? If somebody meditates, you're just reinforcing the me, right? You've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, no. There's no me there already to reinforce. So you couldn't reinforce the me if your life depended on it. So that's freedom, because now you're free to do anything. It doesn't matter what you do. Write a book, don't write a book. Write a poem, don't write a poem. Do a good deed, don't do a good deed. It's not going to affect the wholeness. That's why Nkosi is always saying this doesn't mind anything.
It's like when you say that sort of thing, Michael, that it's like it pulls the rug out from underneath me. And that's a good thing. Oh.
And with that not minding anything though, it's like just it's free to let it rip. Like, you know, yeah, that's the interesting thing. It's like, and what Maureen was saying, it just comes out. And you know, that your beautiful example, just like, nope, done with this. It's like there's all that spiritual stuff of, like, I remember sitting on a Zoom years ago with a teacher who let a guy like that go on and on and on, and I just was bubbling with rage and frustration and letting it all simmer in there. And that just and then like, oh, and I'm not spiritual, look at all this rage coming up in me. Yeah, funny.
It's great insight. Seeing our reaction, seeing this reaction to Jacob, the group reaction is all beautiful. And even the handling of it, the apparent handling of it by Michael is all beautiful, all unfolding.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please, Erica.
How do you guys do stuff? Like do anything?
That's a great question. I love that question, Erica, right? That is a great question. So the illusion is that there's a doer inside that body, and there's a doer here, and you know, each body has a separate individual doer that's deciding, right? So you're deciding your day, what you'll do, what you'll wear, like that. But that's not actually this meeting is about that there's no separation. So there's actually no separate anyone to do anything, that it's all being done by this, and what this is a mystery. So it's like your head is nodding. That's this nodding your head. And that's this speaking these words. And that's this listening.
Maybe we've all had moments like this, but I've had days where they just simply flowed, and the amount of stuff that I had gotten done or whatever was just done by no one. It was just effortless, but it was just very, very beautiful to see what can be done with no effort, if it has anything to do with that. But I would guess that most of us at one time or another have had that in our lives, that freedom of no me doing a lot.
Yeah, it's always no me. So there is already no me there, but it can feel like there's a sense of a me. Yes. And that's this appearing as a sense of a me. And that's just what it is, but it doesn't mean anything. It would be like, see, the thing is, no experience is more special than any other experience. Because it's all this. So the specialness comes from the mind when it tells a story. Oh, I can't wait to see my sweetheart in 5 hours. So that seems like it's going to be more special than this. It's telling a story and it's imagining. But look right now. This is always here. While I'm fantasizing about some story, this is just silently here, just ever present.
Michael, the newcomers might be interested to know there's a little monograph available by Nkosi, All Is This, that you can get through contacting Michael Jeffries.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah,
It's wonderful reading and very helpful.
you know what? Who was it? Is she here? Who was it? You, Constance? That said, were you the one? Somebody? Oh, I got an email from somebody that got it today. I'm sorry, Constance. I don't think it was. So they said that they listened to the book. It's called All Is This. It's Nkosi's words, and I edited it. She listens it to her iPad, and she said her iPad reads it to her.
Mm.
And she made a funny comment. Oh, speak of the devil. Hold on. Okay. So she thanked me for the, oh, and it got there on her birthday. So she was so happy to receive Nkosi's book. It's 40 pages, any donation and it's yours. Just send me, you can go to the allisthis.net website and just send me your email and a donation of any amount, and I'll send you a PDF of the book. And so this was what was great about her email. She said, I'm so loving Nkosi book that you put together. I'm listening it to my iPad. It's reading the words to me. I only wish my iPad could sound like Nkosi's voice.
There are also YouTube videos of these meetings, and certainly individual ones of Nkosi. That you can listen to his voice, and it's quite soothing.
Well, that's how she knew his voice, because she had seen those, so she knew what he sounded like. But she obviously the iPad's not reading it like Nkosi talks.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Nkosi. Welcome.
Hi, Michael. Hello,
Hi.
everyone.
Hi, Kosi.
Hi, Nkosi.
Hello.
Yeah. So tonight, Nkosi, we're talking about how there's only wholeness.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just everything. Wholeness, which includes somebody asking a question, somebody giving an answer, somebody not getting it. All discussions, all thinking, all wondering, everything. This leaves nothing out, really. It's everything. So as well, nobody can point to it because it's everything. How can you point to everything? And who can point to everything if there's only everything? So, so it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's already what it is. It's already wordless. It may also appear as words. It may also appear as anything. You know, there are no limitations. There are no limitations. And nobody knows this because there's nobody already. It's just this. So nobody can get it. Nobody can never not get it. So, because it's just everything as it is. It may happen to dream itself as somebody who's searching, who's looking, who's thinking, but there's no real separate somebody outside of it because it's everything. It's just wholeness. So it's all inclusive. So There's no journey, to it. There's no getting to it. There's no knowing it, because there's only it. Yet it's not even in it. It's wordless. It's just here. It's not doing anything. It's not moving. It's just here. The movement, or what seems to be the movement, may be seen as just a thought. Something may seem to appear in it and say, oh, I'm moving. Oh, now we are moving. Now we are getting somewhere. But yet, even that is also wholeness appearing as that. There's no separation. Somebody may say, oh, but I'm never really understanding it today. It's not the same as last week. Even that too is also this, what is appearing as that. So there is never really an escape. Nobody can escape. So an individual, or what seems to be an individual, is just never there. It is wholeness, everything expressing as an individual. Even when it seems there's somebody who's searching, there's no real somebody who's there searching, looking. Even the one who may seem to help the one who's searching to get to this is also wholeness, everything appearing as that. So nobody can help anybody here because there's nobody here. There's just everything. So not getting it is the same. Yeah, that's what seems to be coming up.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Nkosi. And I could say a few words about wholeness as well, that wholeness cannot be improved upon. And as a quote, me, that's all I'm trying to do every second, right, of its existence. The imaginary me is trying to do something, trying to improve, make better. But not wholeness. So that's the freedom.
Yeah.
What's
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Nkosi.
You can go ahead. Don.
Oh, I was thinking, well, you said that's the freedom. I think Michael said it. But that infers there's no freedom, which goes into the separation. So there is no freedom. There's no freedom.
Yeah, if we're gonna use words, there's always gonna be an opposite. So words are always gonna fall short.
Well, okay, but there's no nothing then, right?
We can't really say.
Okay, well, when I heard when you said there's the freedom, the way this thing over here interprets it is that, oh, there's a way to get free. Now, if I just do whatever, I can become free. But what I'm seeing is that that's not possible. Right? So I'm just saying the way we put it out, sometimes people could say, oh, we could get free, which seems to be against what this message is.
Well, it's all
Yeah.
that's being shared here, Don, is there's already nobody there to become free.
Okay. But then, I mean, not the art, it's not, but then you said, but there's the freedom. You really can't say anything. You can't say there's freedom because people will hear that. I will hear that, and I'm sure other people will hear that as, oh, there's freedom. But if I go to Nkosi, if he gives the answer, which he will, I'm sure, we'll find, well, I'm waiting to hear it. Because there's no freedom.
The way you did, Don. I didn't interpret it the way you did.
Okay, did anybody interpret it the way I did, that there is a freedom out there? I'm just curious. I might be the only one, because I'm such a searcher. I want freedom.
I feel like, or Don, what I relate to, this is Jenny, but we don't get one word. We don't get one word, because it's all a concept from the first word. Even what I'm saying to you isn't true, because there's not one word. That's all been invented over time through humanity. And yet we enjoy coming here. And somehow it seems like when we hear some of these words, we either enjoy it or, you know, it's what we have, part of what we have to use, you know. But you're right, in truth, we don't get one word. And so we could just sit here and not say one word, and it's like a thought comes in that like it's not enough or something, and we start talking, or we want to hear each other talk because the words seemingly get closer or something. But you're right, I mean, there's not one word, and yet we're here, you know, and we have to use language. But yeah, we don't get not one word. This is it. Oh.
Go, Jenny.
Yeah.
Go, Jenny, go.
Jeez. Like she's getting applause.
Yeah, it's just freedom appearing as everything, appearing as somebody who's not getting it, you know, appearing as somebody who's getting it, but it's still freedom. It's still liberation appearing as everything. So there's nobody to be free or not. There's just everything. It's just wholeness. Anything appearing is just wholeness appearing. Any word spoken is just wholeness appearing as a word. Any discussion, any idea, new idea, any imaginary journey is just wholeness appearing as an imaginary journey. Somebody who thinks, oh, now I'm getting there, it's just already this, what is appearing is that. So an individual, somebody who separates, is already not there. It doesn't exist. It's just everything. It's just everything here. There's no Michael, there's no Alice, there's no Nkosi, there's no Jenny, there's no Don. It's just everything already. So it doesn't matter what is being spoken. It doesn't really matter because it's just everything. It's just wholeness appearing as that already. There's no real separation here. There are no individuals already. If they seem to be a real individual, that's an imagination also appearing in this as this. And that imagination may seem to dissipate, and then as well, it may be seen by no one that there's just this, it's just everything. Even in the midst of it being there, as an imagination, it's just everything as well, appearing as that. So there is only everything. And the you, the real you who's looking for it, is just a thought, which is also disappearing as that. Who is really searching for this? Who is searching for this? Where is that one? Can that one be found? If it can be found, by whom? Is there a woman or a man here? Except as a thought or an imagination. The body itself doesn't say I'm a man or a woman. Something seems to say I'm a man. Can that thing be found? Is it not just everything appearing as that? Is there a real separate man or a woman who wants to know? Or is it just everything?
Erica, did you have a question for Nkosi?
I'm just captivated. I'll be honest. I came in here with zero expectations, and I'm leaving here feeling more in the mindset of surrendering to my experience than I ever have before. I mean, I go around asking myself, why? And now I'm like, you know what? Whatever. That's it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Any last comments or questions before we close out this evening?
I have a question. Nkosi, how does it feel to be a new daddy?
Yeah, it feels good. It feels good. Yeah, there is that excitement.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
And your son's doing okay?
Yeah, it is enjoyed. It is enjoyed. Something enjoys. Yeah, being there for the baby, looking after.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. It's wonderful.
If you haven't seen the baby, you can go on my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type in Michael Jeffries, and you'll actually see a beautiful Nkosi, lovely video of Nkosi singing. How old was the baby? Looked like it was like a day old. It just had come out.
The think 2 weeks.
It's
At the
2
time.
weeks when you were singing so beautifully to it.
Yes, yes.
It still seemed to have its birth band on from the hospital.
Hmm.
It appeared that way, didn't it, Michael? On
Yeah,
the-
that's what made me think it was new because it had a wristband.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was born before time.
Oh,
Baby was born before time, so he had
Mhm.
to stay a couple of weeks there.
Ah,
oh, that's
Got it.
right.
yeah.
He already is outside of time, huh, Nkosi?
Yeah, it's just a language. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, to each and every one of you for coming. We so love and appreciate all of you. Nkosi, no words. Thank you, everybody. Have a great
Thanks,
evening.
everyone.
Well, bye.
Bye.